Always On Point podcast here with Kristen Ambos, sponsored by my parent company, Point Mortgage. Shameless plug. If you don't follow Point Mortgage on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, please do. And if you don't follow Kristen Ambos on any of those, please do. Your support means the world to us. And we are a company that's on a mission to change the way mortgages are done and to really help people build wealth through their mortgage. And sometimes that's talking about the things that are difficult to talk about. And that's today's topic. So last week you heard me talking about ways that you can save, ways that you can easily cut stuff out. And especially if you're younger. But what we didn't get into last week is when we're so far over our heads, we don't know what to do, how to turn. How do we get ourselves out of where we're at so that we can be a homeowner eventually someday? And one of the things that's not talked about enough is bankruptcy. Now, I'm not here to say you should just claim bankruptcy and get out. That's not the message I'm going to deliver. However, I am going to deliver a message that I have to clients over the years where sometimes that's your best option. I'm not saying it's, I'm here advocating everybody just give up, claim bankruptcy. No, not the truth, not the case. But bad things happen to good people. I've said that my whole career. I still believe it. You guys, I look at credit every single day. Not everybody is out spending money in ways they shouldn't. Some people got really ill and have medical bills that they don't even know where to begin with. Cancer. It is an epidemic right now. It has hit me in my life and my family really closely in the last couple of years. Friends, parent. It's really hard. It's really hard. And the bills keep coming. Even if the jobs don't pick up more hours and raises don't come. Bad things happen when you are a homeowner and furnaces go out, roofs collapse. And when people, which is the majority of Americans right now, do not feel singled out on this. The majority of Americans right now are living paycheck to paycheck with less than one house payment in the bank. That's a real thing. And you don't know how you're going to get out of it. Bankruptcy is a tool. And I don't want anyone to be ashamed of using it because, like I said, bad things happen to good people. One thing people are is they let their egos get in the way and they're ashamed because the world's going to know I filed bankruptcy and they're going to judge me. Who cares? They're not living in your shoes. It's none of their business. They don't need to know. Simple as that. Somehow in this world, we found it our business to be a part of everyone else's business. And because we have access online to CCAP or all these different things that we look people in their business up, that has nothing to do with us. And I would say I'd be lying to you if I said I never looked up CCAP to see what's going on with somebody. But what I'm not doing is I'm not looking at their personal finances. Job loss happens. Like I said, medical things happen. Things happen where you become so financially strained, you're not sleeping at night. You have a black cloud over your head every day because financial issues also take a toll on your health. They take a toll on your relationship. They take a toll on your marriages. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. If you are married and you are a couple and you are going through serious financial issues right now, look into bankruptcy. Save your health, save your marriage. I have parents who fell apart over money, and I don't wish that upon anybody. There were other ways they could have gotten through it, right? But like so many Americans, they were young, they were building, they both had great jobs. But because they were young, they started out in a hole, and the hole just kept digging deeper and deeper, and somewhere they just didn't know how to get out anymore. And that is what happens with so many people, whether you're single or in a relationship. Finances become issues. And we owe it to ourselves to make sure that we are living the best life we can live. And that doesn't mean overspending. If you're going to file bankruptcy and just go take out credit cards and overspend again, don't claim bankruptcy. I'm not using it as a tool for you to start over fresh to just get yourself in another hole. But if you are new to being in a hole and you've never been in a hole before, there are tools out there. And it's not even bankruptcy. There's bankruptcy, chapter 13. It rewrites your debt. You still pay all your debt back. But it's a relief system to know that it's no longer going to continue to escalate and escalate. And listen, credit card debt at 20 to 25% interest rate, you're probably paying $400 to $500 a month in just interest and never getting ahead in that card. That's no way to live. And there are people out there with 3% interest rate on their mortgages who are trying to figure out how they get themselves out of a hole. And sometimes it's as easy as cutting down on spending, selling the fancy cars, just getting practical cars, paying with cash, and starting over. And to other people, it's so massive because the debt is so high that there's nowhere to go. And listen, as somebody who 5 years ago was in a massive car accident and spent a week in the ICU and spent another 3 months in and out of the hospital, I understand what those medical bills look like. They're devastating. If you don't have the right insurance, they're devastating. They're paralyzing. Think about different ways to get out. Now, if you did claim Chapter 7, Chapter 13, FHA allows you to buy in 2 years. VA will let you buy in 1 year if it makes sense. If your credit scores are back up and you've shown that after a bankruptcy, you can afford your life and you've made the steps to correct that, 2 years, you guys. Do you know how fast 2 years is? Any of you have kids, you know how fast 2 years goes. Don't look at it like it's the long haul and you can't wait that long. It's really a short amount of time. But it is a conversation no one wants to have. No one wants to talk about bankruptcy because they feel ashamed. I'm asking you not to. Don't feel ashamed. There are clients that I've worked with that have claimed bankruptcy 10 years ago and are now in a home, living a life, financially in a good spot because they just looked themselves in the eye and said, I overspent, I'm never going to do that again. Or I have medical bills I just can't cover. Or I had a really horrible divorce and I didn't know how to cover the bills and I got stuck with all the bills in the divorce decree or whatever it may be. There's so many reasons. Do not look at it as a negative. Look at it as a stepping stone to erasing the bad past and starting over. That's why it exists. Listen, corporations have no problem using it as a tool to keep their businesses alive, to keep their businesses going. It doesn't have to mean disaster. It can actually be a fresh start. And I just think so many times we take those things as a negative instead of using them as a positive, and where it can really reshape our life. And it can totally give us that brand new start that we needed. And sometimes we end up over our head because in my last podcast, you heard me say, no one taught you anything about financial literacy. There's nothing that says anything. It's now mandated in the schools, which I adore. And I've been lucky enough to host some of those classes at UWGB and NWTC and even in the high schools where we talk about financial literacy and how important it is. And you know, a 16 to 18-year-old might not be thinking of homeownership, but it doesn't mean they don't know how to start saving money. Doesn't mean that they don't know how important a job could be. And the earlier they start that job and the earlier they're financially independent from anyone in their lives, the sooner they can make those decisions. But they need confidence that they can do that. And without being, with being, I should say, illiterate, think about anything you're illiterate of. Do you feel confident in having a conversation about it? I will never have a conversation with you right now about understanding homeowners insurance, for example. I know what to look at. I know enough to be dangerous. But I could not sell you insurance because I'm not licensed and I don't know enough about it. I'm not literate enough to talk about it. My agent helps teach me with every policy, every renewal, everything. And over the years, especially working in the industry I do, I now feel that I'm much more literate in that. But I couldn't debate you on why, if you don't live on a water table, why taking a sump pump policy or not is good for you. That's something that a true educator should be. That's why I stick in mortgage. I'll educate you in mortgage. I'll educate you in financial wealth. I'll educate you on good and bad, and I will own bad and share it with you. I started out my life with a 450 credit score because I had a parent abuse my credit. I started out not knowing where I was going to start. I started out with no money in the bank, leaving college, At the time, it was $40,000 in debt, which felt like an eternity, probably equivalent to $100,000 now. How I was ever going to get out of that? I paid it off. I did those things. I held myself financially responsible for those. Didn't play the victim card, even though I probably had quite a few chances that I could have. I looked myself in the eye early on, and I knew I wanted to do different, and I wanted to be different. And I wanted to do it on my own. And sometimes that means being strict with yourself. And there were times where I really didn't understand the financial side of things. I had to learn myself. I had to go through it myself. But every one of those points where I went through it, I educated myself on how can I not let that happen again. Doesn't mean I dug myself out of a hole once and never put myself back in. It happens. Was doing really, really well, and then the collapse of 2010 started, and my business went from 100 to 0, literally, doing tons of mortgages to no mortgages. As a straight commission employee, that changes things. And I had to really quickly learn how to change my lifestyle. And so the next time that, the mortgage housing hit again, I was smarter about it. I invested my money well. I put money in the bank, those types of things. I didn't have anyone to help me with that. So I feel like it's my position to help pay it forward to those who want that help. If you're totally fine living off your parents, your grandparents, or whomever the case may be for the rest of your life, I am not going to judge you. Everybody's different. But if you want that independent side of it, if you want to be that financially independent on your own, I'm here to help you even through the bad times, which is meaning having that conversation. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to put you down. Because why? Say it with me. Bad things happen to good people all the time. And finances is one of the worst ways and one of the best ways you can help yourself with everything to do moving forward. So while bankruptcy feels like this awful, dreaded word, it doesn't have to be. It can actually be the fresh start you need, the sleep you need at night. Maybe all of a sudden now you don't need sleeping pills. Maybe now all of a sudden you don't need cholesterol pills. Maybe now you don't need anxiety pills. You go to the doctor, they're so willing to just throw something at you. Maybe it's as healthy as just starting out on your own and just cleaning up some of the things in your life that are adding up to it. And tight finances are one of those things. So happy to help you in any way, stretch of the imagination that we can on that. Now, the other piece of it that I want to go into is, watching out for things that we can watch out for. Some people have to claim bankruptcy because their identities got stolen. You guys, at this point in time, and speaking as somebody who has their credit locked down, there's no reason not to have your credit locked down. Don't let somebody steal it from you. I personally use LifeLock. This is not an ad for LifeLock, but I use LifeLock because they email me, text me, call me the minute somebody's pulling my credit. Love that. Want to know about it. Identity theft. Watch what you're doing when you're putting your credit cards in somewhere, when you're paying with those. Make sure you know what those consequences might be. Not only is locking down your credit a really important piece of it, but watching the emails that come in. People right now, I've heard of more people being solicited and clicking on bad phishing links where they are taking your identity and stealing all of your money from the beginning. You thought that the V in that, let's just say the email address is POV.com, pointofview.com, POV. And all of a sudden it's POW.com. But you saw POV. The POW.com is a solicitation. The POV is the right one. But it looked like it off a quick glance. Please don't open those emails up. There are people, YouTube people stealing identities online from overseas, from America, it doesn't matter where. But with everything going on right now, online, working online, off your phones, off of anything, please make sure you are protecting yourselves. I think LifeLock is as cheap as $10 a month and as expensive as like 35 or 40. I mean, I'm sure there's even higher prices. You don't always have to get the big one. You can just the little one, lock your credit down so that somebody can't steal from you and then put that in your name, whereas then you now are the one that's suffering. It's happening every day, multiple times a day. Don't let it be you. So if there's any way you can protect yourself, protect yourself. And if there's ways that you can't because things happen financially, don't be afraid to look into it, talk about it. I actually know a couple very prominent bankruptcy attorneys, and they will tell you you don't need one if you don't need one. They're not to put everybody in bankruptcy. They really want to help the people who need the help. And those are things that we can do and then get you into a home. Start rebuilding that wealth sooner than later. So just a big topic. I know it's a heavy one, but I think it's one that more people right now need to hear than not because their finances are so tight and they just don't know where to turn and they're afraid to ask. They're afraid if they even ask, people will start judging them. So I felt like it was important to at least just have this conversation. Think about it. You don't have to do anything about it, or you can, and know that it's okay. And know there are still empathetic ears that want to listen to you and help you find the right answers so that you can get that fresh, clean start. The path to homeownership starts with strong finances. And if that takes you 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I am happy to start with you now to make sure we can get you then and get you in the right path so that you can find that home ownership you are interested in and looking for. If there's anything my team and I can do to help answer that, we are willing. Again, you can find me, email me any questions, Ambos, AMBOS, at pointmtg.com. This is a short one today, but I wanted to get in, just let you know what it is, and leave it right there. Come to me with any questions you have. We'll point you in the right direction as best we can and make you feel comfortable, make you feel safe, and make you feel heard. Because a lot of times that's the other piece of it is you just don't feel heard. And we want to be the people to help you do that. So in any case, thank you again for listening. If you know of somebody who you feel might need this, share it. Just share the whole podcast. Let them find it themselves. You don't have to share it because you think they're going into bankruptcy. You can just share it. Any part of it. And we're appreciative of all those shares. New podcast drop every Wednesday on the podcast platform that you listen to most. If you subscribe, you'll get that update, or you can go on to YouTube at any time, look up the Kristen Ambos or the Always On Point podcast. You will find us. Thank you again for all of your support and listening. We'll see you next week.